Hey guys, welcome back to Music Talk with John. Today I have
Giancarlo.
this guy. Yeah, my nephew. He is here on vacation from, you're back in New York, right?
Oh yeah, all the way back in New York.
Okay,
Loving Queens, loving the Bronx.
there you go. So he's here to help me go through the new grabs, and you'll see I went a little bit crazy here, and it's the year end. So this is it, and hopefully there's the rest of my buys for a long time so I can get back into my collection. All these albums that I don't know anything about, I need to learn about them. So I need to stop buying these things. So, first one,
Stacks and stacks and stacks of albums, John. What
you're
are you doing with all
surrounded.
this?
Yeah, even over here, you didn't even see.
Jesus.
Yeah, they're everywhere. And those two boxes over there. So we're about 950 albums.
Damn.
So this is a recent one. You know this guy?
Of course, Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan. Have you heard his Christmas album?
No, I didn't know he had a Christmas album.
Well, there you go. I haven't listened to it yet, but there's a guy in Virginia. His name is Sam St. John. He loves Christmas albums and he loves Bob Dylan. So I saw this on sale, so I'm like, let's get the Bob Dylan Christmas album.
It's fun.
Yeah, I don't have too many Christmas albums, maybe 10.
When was it made?
I don't know. When was this? 2009.
Wow. Okay.
So, Bob Dylan Christmas songs. So there's that one. Bob Dylan, Christmas in the Heart. So I haven't listened to this one yet. I can't tell anything about it. Then this was a recent concert. If you guys have Paramount or CBS, and they had this concert with Willie Nelson celebrating his 90th birthday live at the Hollywood Bowl. I think they recorded it over 2 nights, pretty sure, and has a bunch of people on here. Have you heard of Billy Strings?
Of course.
Okay. Whiskey River.
Snoop Dogg?
Snoop Dogg's on here. What was it? Roll Me Up and Smoke Me When I Die?
Yes.
That should be on here somewhere.
No.
No. What?
They excluded it.
I thought Snoop Dogg was on this one.
I've seen the videos.
Yeah, and he was on the concert. I watched it. He came out and played with Willie. Sure we're not missing it? That's weird.
It's probably like a distribution thing internally.
And I thought I saw somewhere where this said Volume 1, but I don't see it on this one. So that's weird. But you have Lyle Lovett. Beck did a really good job.
Thanks, good.
And Lucas Nelson did an awesome job with Angel Flying Too Close to the Ground. So I haven't even opened this one yet, but I plan to. But I did see the concert, so I have an idea what's happening here. So there's that one. Then I picked up a Willie Nelson MoFi, which is for your audiophiles, your high quality recording. I know MoFi has taken a hit lately, but they had a digital issue. They were adding digital steps into their process instead of being all analog, and a lot of people didn't like that. So Willie Nelson Stardust, I haven't listened to it yet. Picked it up, but it has Stardust. This is the one that has Georgia on My Mind, Blue Skies, Unchained Melody. So I know this was sort of a concept or something. There was
See, when you picked it up and I saw the back, I instantly thought of Tom Petty. A very sort of Tom Petty-esque dynamic with the hat, especially.
Don't Come Around Here No More.
Yeah, and you know what? Look where he's at. You know, he's in the desert. Clearly, don't come around there anymore.
Yeah, I look forward to listening to that. Then on a little bit of a Willie kick. This was a good price, so I just picked this up. This is all Willie's early recordings. It's a 2-disc set. Like I said, I haven't listened to it yet, but it's Willie Nelson Things to Remember, the Pamper demos. So what it says is the early 60s demos that changed the course of modern country music collected in one place for the first time, featuring the first ever recordings of such classics as Crazy, Hello Walls, and Funny How Time Slips Away. So there it is, and a very, very young Willie right there, chilling with his guitar. You big into Willie?
Love Willies.
You love Willies?
All of Willie Nelson.
Oh, okay. You might want to
Shakespeare.
rephrase that. I don't know. I do not love Willies. I like Willie. So this came out. Neil Young. He's putting out about an album a week, almost, it seems like. This is actually a new recording. It's called Before and After, and it's really cool. It actually has really no beginning or end. I mean, it has a beginning, but it just goes from one song to the next song, and it kind of flows all the way through. And he does some old classics on here. Yep, there's old Neil hanging out. It's written in the sand right there. But he does, where is it? On the Ocean, which was on Mirrorball, I think, during the 90s somewhere. So I know people are getting burned out on Neil stuff, but I would suggest checking this out. It is good. It's a good new recording because he does this all the time. And here's another example of what Neil's doing. I picked up the Mazzy Hall recording. Glenn Kellaway, if you're watching, I know this is a favorite of yours. 1971, and it's just a live recording. I think it's a two album set. Haven't listened to it yet, but I plan to. It's part of the Neil Young Archives Performance Series, disc number 3.
You know, if you'd use 3 words to describe Neil Young and his evolution of success, what 3 words would you use?
Cool as hell.
That's true.
He's just cool. That's why he gets away with singing like he does.
Yeah.
To kind of fit in that sort of mood, you got some Tom Waits. Getting pretty close to getting everything of his on vinyl. I got all the 80s stuff with all those recent reissues. And I think I have all the 70s stuff. So I'm working on that 90s into the 2000s and stuff. So I picked this one up, and 2-disc set, Mule Variations. I always want to say variation. So nice gatefold with the lyrics in there. The vinyl's clean. I kind of played around with it at the record store. They were like little scuff marks, but they played clean, so they probably just need to be cleaned up. And I don't know if there's any major, he doesn't really have hits, but popular songs off of this. But it's going to be good. It's Tom Waits. There's just never a bad Tom Waits album. Another one I haven't opened, but this is a surprise for me to actually buy a Harry Styles album.
You know, I'm seeing the song list and I'm thinking, did you buy a Harry Styles album?
I bought a Harry Styles album because there's going to be a video coming out. And what I did, I went to Walmart and I went to their album section and I just straightened up the albums, made them all nice and neat, but I kept them the way they were, and I videoed it, and then I'm making myself listen to each one of those albums in a row. So there's 11 albums, and this was one, and I freaking like this album. All of them, I do a 1, 2, 3 rating. All of them mostly got a 3, and just a couple 2s, no duds. So I really like this album.
You know, a lot of times there's a very strong comparison from Harry Styles to, Mick Jagger. Do you think that comparison really holds up?
I don't know. No, I don't get a Mick Jagger. But he does have a psychedelic feel to him. He's kind of all over, but he uses, I don't want to go too much into my review, but he does some modern recording. But it's not fake drum beats and stuff. It's just a really good recording. It sounds like a nice audio recording, analog recording kind of sound. So give this one a try, believe it or not. I was completely thrown off. I'm like, holy crap, I'm going to buy a Harry Styles album. He's a great talent. He's a really good, talented guy. It looks like he writes the songs. I don't know if he does the lyrics, but the lyrics are actually good. He does some storytelling in there. It's not just, hey, let's make it radio friendly and write a love song. It's actually really cool. So this one, I'm trying to get my feet wet on Steely Dan. I'm not a huge Steely Dan fan. There's one recently, picked it up at Goodwill for $1.18. And I actually like this one, Can't Buy a Thrill, but I don't like all the Steely Dan albums. To me, they start kind of sounding the same. It's a 2-disc set of their greatest hits, 72 to 78. So do you know any Steely Dan?
I just know he played the steel drum.
Okay, so he knows nothing because it's 2 guys in there, right? So he doesn't know.
Is there really 2 guys?
Yeah.
The Steel and Dan?
Yeah, and you should look up what a Steely Dan is. I'm not going to talk about it right now. Yeah, no. It's way off from what you think a Steely Dan is. Really? Yeah. So if you guys are watching, you know what a Steely Dan is, you're probably laughing. There's the 2 guys right there.
This is from the Little Mermaid.
No, what are you thinking? I don't even know.
Like a steel drum.
No, Steely Dan is not a steel drum.
Are you sure?
Oh, it's a whole nother device, I'll tell you.
Huh.
You can look that up, but Do It Again, Reelin' in the Years. You might know these songs by
I think I've
hearing
heard them.
They do a little bit of jazz fusion in their stuff too. So.
Where are they from?
I have no idea. They're an American band, but I don't know where they're from, where they're out of. But yeah, I got that to just kind of get my feet wet with Steely Dan. Here's one. I always wanted to get something by these guys, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Have not listened to it yet. You know these guys, right?
Very much so.
Okay. So, Shining Star, September, Boogie Wonderland.
It's a big one.
After the Love Is Gone. So I probably know these other ones, but this is a music on vinyl, Earth, Wind, and Fire Greatest Hits, limited edition 3000. Individual number copies on flaming colored vinyl. Well, we're going to have to look at that.
I'm excited for that.
Let's see what flaming colored vinyl is. Now, music on vinyl, I like that they do this. I like their idea behind what they do, but I really hate this sticky part of their
Yeah.
process, because it kind of just sticks to everything when you're trying to play with it. And then you wonder if somebody already opened it. All right, what did they call it? Flaming what? It's gonna look like this probably. Flaming red vinyl or something? Is that what
I'm
it
excited
said?
to see that.
Let's see. Is it exciting?
Whoa.
Well, it's an orange record, but it has.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it has some stuff going on in there.
I think
You can get it in there, see it? It's like a marble look to it. Flames.
for the thumbnail.
There you go. There you go. And it comes in a polyline sleeve, so that's nice. They do a good job with that instead of putting just a paper sleeve.
You think both albums are like that? You think it's the same color? Oh, it is the same color.
Yeah, probably, yeah. You don't change it up too much.
I like that. That's fun. You know, Liam Gallagher, he released an album last year where once it's spinning on the record player, it's like a little cartoon.
Yeah.
It's the coolest thing.
There's a Jack White did one of those too. Actually, Jack White has one where it goes up into the wax and it'll come back too.
That's it.
And wherever you place the needle, you might get a different set of songs.
Huh.
So it's pretty crazy how they do that. So that one's hard to find. It's worth a lot of money. Pick this up. Bob Dylan. Springtime in New York, the Bootleg Series, Volume 16, 1980 to 85. Bob Dylan fan? You like Bob?
I'm a big fan of Bobby.
Okay. He has a bootleg series, which is cool. This is Volume 16. A lot of people love this because it's a lot of extra material from Bob Dylan, alternate takes, songs you haven't heard before. Like I think on here we were talking about, he does a song on Late Night with David Letterman. So a lot of cool versions of songs on here. So this is a 4-record set. Haven't listened to it yet, so I'll probably tell you about it later on once I've listened to it. But just glad to pick it up. Trying to fill in the Bob Dylan stuff. All right, I gave this a listen. So this is part of the Atlantic.
Is that Phil Collins?
That's Phil Collins.
That's sick.
So you see the difference in the picture, though?
Between, like, what he looks like now?
Well, look at the picture.
He's an orange.
Yeah, no, it was always like that, but he's older. So that's how you can tell if it's a reissue.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So if you look at an original copy of it, which I don't have, he's younger, obviously. It's a picture of him in the 80s, but when he went back, remastered these, and reissued them, he took the same exact pictures, which were always his face, but older. So it's interesting.
I like that.
And then you get the sweaty head on the back there. You can't beat that.
Oh, my God, that is his head.
Not a sweatier album since, was it Hall & Oates, H2O? There's all sweat coming down that thing. This sounds really good. I did give it a listen. Like I said, it's part of the Atlantic 75th anniversary, so they released, I think 75 albums. I think that's what it was. And they actually have a club where they're releasing 3 albums a month, and people are part of the club, and they already paid in advance, like thousands of dollars, so they get their 3 albums every month. So it has Ray Charles, Aretha Franklin, a lot of cool artists.
Oh, wow.
So I got this, and I think I got the Bad Company one, and that one played really nice. So this was 1985, no jacket required. It had One More Night, Sussudio, Take Me Home, and if you like those color variants, this one's kind of cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Can you see yourself? Can you see yourself? Look at that. I like the clear ones. They're pretty cool.
Yeah. Do you want to hear a fun fact about Phil Collins?
Huh.
Before he was known as Phil Collins, he was the drummer, world famous band Journey.
Oh, not Journey.
Wasn't it?
No. Come on. I'll let you think
Travel?
about it. No. I'll let you think about it. Peter Gabriel's part of the same band.
That doesn't make it easier.
Genesis.
Oh, the original Genesis
Yeah.
now.
Phil Collins wasn't in the beginning. He came in later to fill in the space of the drummer. Then when Peter Gabriel left, Phil Collins took over the vocals.
Damn.
And then they got more into a pop out of their sort of proggy, not psychedelic, more proggy sound into more pop. Next one's the Black Crowes. Have you heard this one?
Yeah, I know the Black Crowes.
This is their sophomore album, newly remastered. The Southern Harmony and Musical Companion. And I just listened to it. Sounds great. Not a pop, not a crack. All these, the ones that I've listened to are sounding really good. I'm not having any issues with those.
This is from the 90s, right?
This was 90, yeah.
So do you think fans of the Black Crowes and fans of the, what's the other Crow band?
92.
Oh,
Counting Crows?
Counting Crows. Do you think they would ever, clash?
Well, they're two different types of music, though.
Well,
These are guys
crows.
more blues. You Clash of the Crows, like a Game of Thrones kind of thing.
It could work.
What's it called? The Swords, a Battle of the Swords or whatever it's called. But it had a really good song, Remedy, on there that I love a lot. Just a solid bluesy. I like them when they came out because it took you back to the 60s.
It's funny that you mentioned the
That sound.
60s because
Oh yeah, look what they dressed as.
very clearly.
Yeah.
Sort of
But look at how the other
George
guys are
Harrison.
dressed. That's the funny part. Like this guy's, they don't really fit these two. These are brothers, so he's the guitar player, lead singer. But this guy looks like he totally doesn't even belong in the band with a jacket on or whatever. He's kind of doing cool. He's all right. But these guys are like way out, like 60s kind of look.
Yeah.
Right? Even maybe into the 70s kind of thing.
It's a good style.
Yeah. But it had that old feel to it. That's what I liked about it when they came out. Sheryl Crow, Tuesday Night Music Club. So finally they reissued it. I have the other one that came out on Record Store Day 1 year ago. And it was a double album. I think it was a 45 speed. Excellent. Been waiting for Sheryl Crow stuff to come out on vinyl. She's slowly putting it out. So hopefully we're going to see her sophomore album, the one just Sheryl Crow, Globe Sessions, 1,000 Miles from Memphis, up to that area. I would love to get all those albums on vinyl.
For the younger college students who want to get into Sheryl Crow, where would you say they should start?
I would almost say her second album or Globe Sessions. If It Makes You Happy and You Don't Bring Me Anything But Down, those are big hits. It is a good starting point. When you hear the first line of Run Baby Run, that's when I bought that CD because I read about it in Rolling Stone. I hadn't even, her videos, maybe they were out, but I hadn't seen them yet. Rolling Stone gave this outstanding review as like, okay, let me go get this album. I put it on. As soon as I heard Run Baby Run, I was done. She just has her voice come in and the way they recorded that song, it's just awesome. What's cool about her other albums, when she did this album, she was with a group of musicians and it kind of came together. She had done an album before this, but it was very 80s sounding and they were like, she didn't want it. She shelved it. I actually have a bootleg of it back there. Very 80s sounding. So then she got with these guys and they were doing a lot of reading of poetry and artists like Kerouac and all those guys. And they kind of just carried themselves off in a way that she's like, man, we were really conceited. We were like, and they were trying to kind of match that in the lyric writing and the content of it. But it comes off as good pop songs and different styles. But when she did this, she didn't really play many instruments on this album because she had such a solid band. And she kind of got some flack for that. They were kind of like, oh, you didn't play your own instruments and you kind of wrote the songs, but you had other people. So she's like, okay, fine, screw you. I'm going to show you. So when she puts out Sheryl Crow, she produced it. I think she produced it. She was very heavily involved in the production. Did most of the instruments, wrote the songs, did all that stuff. So she came in strong. So that would be the Sheryl Crow album that's just after this. So I would say Sheryl Crow, Globe Sessions, or this are 3 good, safe albums for them to start with. And they're pretty easy to get a hold of. You see them at like Goodwill all the time. So,
quick joke. If you're going through a bunch of Sheryl Crow albums at a record store, do you know what you're doing?
Counting crows.
You're counting crows.
There you go. You should take that on the road. You're a funny guy. Okay. So, pick this up. Did something I said I wasn't going to do. If I already had a good copy of an album, I'm not going to try and get a better one. Well, what did I do? Well, I did it. But I kind of have a general rule with that. If it's an album I really love, which that's this one, I might do that. I might go ahead and try to find a better copy. So this is a MoFi of Slow Hand. I haven't listened to it yet. It's regular speed. But I'm like, let me see what they did with it. Because I listened to this one. Here's another one I picked up also that I'm listening to currently. I forgot to put it in the stack. But Jeff Beck, Truth. And it's a 45. So you can see here it's a 2 album set. And this is what I'm talking about when they do it at the 45 speed. You can even see the difference on the album over there. So side 1 is 2 songs, side 2 is 3 songs. So you're flipping it over every close to 8 to 10 minutes.
Wow.
So, but holy crap. Even on my modest system, I'm just playing through a Sony amp with Sony speakers, and I have my Audio Technica AT-LP 120, which I know a lot of people like. It is a great record player. Through here, I felt the difference and heard the difference. You could hear all the instruments, the separation. Jeff Beck's guitar was over there. Rod Stewart's voice was kind of going back and forth, and the bass was just right in the middle. It was good. It wasn't bass heavy shaking everything. You just hear a nice solid bass line. So that was cool. I'm hoping to hear the same thing here with Eric Clapton's Slow Hand. And you probably know, I don't know if you've heard this whole album, but it has Cocaine on it.
Love that one.
Wonderful Tonight,
Classic.
Lay Down Sally.
Oh, wow.
Just those are probably the major ones, but the whole album's excellent. The way they recorded, I love the sound of this album. I was like, you know what? I'm going to have to go for it. This one, I don't have much Chuck Berry. He's a dirty old man on this album, too. That's what I found out. So he put this, they had this at the record store, and it looks like crap. Like,
rough.
The spine, there's the spine. It has the same opening as the opening. It was a cutout at one time. You can see that right there. But this is the London Chuck Berry sessions. First side is studio, second side is live. Do you know what Chuck Berry's only hit was?
Was it
Yeah, one hit.
It was the Beatles covered it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Nope.
It was Johnny Be Good.
Nope.
Wasn't it?
That wasn't a hit.
Was it not?
That was not a number one.
What was his number one?
My Ding-a-Ling.
No way.
And guess what he's singing about? Have you heard My Ding-a-Ling?
No.
Well,
no way he wrote a song called My Ding-a-Ling.
There you go, right there. My Ding-a-Ling. So the song just before that, what is the song? Because he put the songs here, but they're not in order or anything. He doesn't give any artists any credit. I was kind of wondering, too, about these flowers. They could be something else in anatomy. But I was trying to look it up. I don't know if these are actually the guys that played on there. I got to look them up.
When was this produced?
This was, when did this come out? Early 70s, I think.
You know, I think analyzing the two covers, it's very much geared towards this sort of British mod demographic.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's a very cool album to look
at. And
even
he does some little shout outs to Parliament and stuff in there.
Really?
But he does, so side one, he does Let's Boogie, Mean Old World, I Will Not Let You Go, Londonderry Blues, and I Love You. Good solid album, good solid side. The whole thing's good. Then he does Reelin' and Rockin'. And there's some lyrics in there that are, I even said, what did he just say? So he keeps it, it's the dirty clean. He says it and he's like, man, but I'm like, that's pretty nasty. So you have to listen to the song to get it. My Ding-a-Ling, so you can see how long My Ding-a-Ling takes up a good portion of the album right there.
It's a long ding-a-ling.
There's only, it's a long ding-a-ling.
Long ding-a-ling.
So, and then Johnny Be Good's the last track, and you can see how small that is. So, But he goes in, he gets this audience going into it, and he's talking about ding-a-lings and having girls do their part and the guys do their part. It's hilarious to listen to, and how that was his big hit is funny as hell.
That's crazy. I would not imagine that to be his big hit.
So 1972.
72.
So that thing is as old as I am.
No, surely that was recorded in London.
That was.
Oh, yeah. Do you know where in London? No.
No, I haven't looked into the album too much. But the funny thing is they had it at the record store. And it's got a little bit of, I don't know if you can see it, some scuff, some little bit of, actually I've cleaned it now. You can see a little bit on it, but they were just like, here, take it. And I was like, you sure? I'm like, yep. I'm like, okay. Took it home, had a couple pops on it, cleaned it, no pops. So it was perfect. And I'll show you a crazy Beatles album that I have. Somebody gave me a box of records, and I'm like, ooh, Rubber Soul, cool. And I'm like, what the hell? It's all this, right? And the album was in there, in the cardboard, no sleeve, just pressed against two pieces of cardboard.
Ouch.
But it's clean. It's like I don't want to take it all the way out, but it is clean. So I kept it. I'm like, you know what? The record plays. You never know. Somebody offers you a free record, take it. Because you might have, it's a good sounding album. It's great. The recording's probably not the best live recording ever, but it's a good listen. It's not like you're not listening to it for the best sound, but you're listening to it for Chuck Berry. Nothing on it?
I know all these songs.
Well, you should, because all you listened to was the Beatles when you were little.
It's good times. Very good times.
All right. Then, boom, just from left field, Beasty Boys, right?
Big fan.
So I have 3 or 4 of their albums. I have 2 instrumental albums, and I have License to Ill. This one I picked up because it was really cheap, and it's all instrumentals also. But it's instrumentals of their
beats,
their songs, yeah. So Make Some Noise, Boys, B-Boys. Make Some Noise, B-Boys. There was a thing I saw it on YouTube, and it was I don't even know what you call it. It played the Beastie Boys music, but then they had actors and comedians playing these different parts.
Oh, it was like an extended version of Fight for Your Right.
Well, it was part of it that was in there, but they played a bunch of their other songs. but they're in the street and they get to kick over the fire hydrant. I think they pee on cars or something.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. We were like dying laughing. And I was reading somewhere that this might be part of that soundtrack because it has, No Sleep Till Brooklyn. Paul Revere's on here. Shake Your Rump. Eggman was cool. High Plains Drifter was cool. They did that old Western kind of sound in there. So I thought, let me get it and try it out. This is like almost listening to a modern, it's like jazz, right? You listen to jazz, you get a feel for it, how it works. And this is kind of how this worked. I kind of had in the background, I was doing stuff and I was like, tapping my foot to it, whatever. I was getting into it and I could hear the different things they were. It's not like they just said, oh, let's just, take the vocals out. The only thing I didn't like about it was the end. These are all acapellas of Sabotage.
Oh, wow.
So What You Want, and Intergalactic Fast, and Intergalactic Slow. And it's just them screaming kind of thing. It's just the vocals. Sounds good. Quality's fine. No pops.
It's very interesting when thinking about Beastie Boys and the development of hip-hop, at least in New York. 1973, right? 50 years ago, 2023, hip-hop was created within New York. And then recently this year, they dedicated a street to the Beastie Boys. It was called like Beastie Boy Avenue in the Lower East Side. But where we have the 50th anniversary of hip-hop happening within the city, you also see the 50th anniversary of CBGB's.
Yeah, there's been several albums, compilations and albums being re-released that weren't normally released or reissued to celebrate the 50 years of hip-hop. So I can appreciate that. It's not normally my style. For me to even have a Beastie Boys is pretty wild.
Yeah.
But
I know you, and you're not a Beastie Boy type of guy.
Yeah, I'm not really into it, but I do enjoy it. And that License to Ill has a lot of that old school drum sound, but they make it work. I don't know. I like it. Almond Brothers band Idlewild South. This is a 180-gram audio file, newly remastered from original analog tapes. You should check out this song, In Memory of Elizabeth Reed. Check that song out. He actually got the title from, it was like a Layla thing. It was a forbidden crush kind of thing, like Clapton had with George Harrison and Patty. He was in love with somebody, and he wanted to write a song about her, but he couldn't use her name. So he actually went to the cemetery, and there was a name, Elizabeth Reed. So he titled the name of the song after this lady who had passed away, and it was a whole instrumental, but he was able to get all his feelings out about this other woman. So that's pretty cool.
When you first said Elizabeth Reed, I was thinking Lou Reed's sister.
No, that wouldn't be her. I don't even know if he had a sister.
Could.
I think you're just making stuff up.
Not in this economy.
Okay. All right. So there you go. Good album. Sounds great. I put it on there, gave it a spin. Sounds fine. I usually look at if there are any pops and how clear it is, and it sounded great. I think that's my first Almond Brothers in here. I had other copies, but they were bad, so I got rid of them. So I'm going to probably try to get, Eat a Peach and Live at the Fillmore. This one finally came out. You ever see this movie?
No.
That Thing You Do? Tom Hanks directed it. I think he wrote it. And it's about a 60s band, kind of like the Beatles. Had influences like you saw bands that look like the Supremes and all that stuff. And they did the movie, and then they finally released the soundtrack.
Did that really happen? The Wonders?
No, but they made it look like it. They do the album to fool you. Like, oh, look, there's the manager in there. And they have a whole write-up about it, and they don't even mention, unless it's inside, because there's a book that comes with it and everything that talks about maybe the production of it or whatever. Maybe they give you the credits of the actual musicians on here, but when you look at it, it's the name of the bands that were in the movie, the fictional bands, the Wonders and whoever. Actually, That Thing You Do was a big hit when this came out. It played like crazy on the radio. And it came with it's kind of cool. If it wants to come out. It does not. It's being stubborn. What the heck? There's a 45 in here. Anyway, it's a 45 of That Thing You Do and one of the other songs that were on here. Plays great, sounds good. It's a retro sounding album. They really did a good job of capturing the 60s in that. This one I'm just going to show real quick. I was going through some other records and came across La Bamba. I'm going through a Los Lobos kind of phase, and of course they're all over this album, along with Brian Setzer and what was his name? Well, Bo Diddley's on here too, and he's it's kind of weird that Bo Diddley was on here, but it does work with the rest of it, and then Brian Setzer's on here also. And it plays good. It actually had some pops on it. I gave it a cleaning, and it's clear now. So clean your records, boys and girls. All right, we're going to finish it up with some jazz. Tony Bennett and Bill Evans. They did a couple albums together. This is really cool. Days of Wine and Roses is on here. There's a couple songs. I didn't write it down. I got to listen to it again. That really stuck out. It's Tony and Bill just doing their thing. I'm not usually a big piano jazz person. I like more of a trumpet or brass lead or drums. This works for me though. It's Tony Bennett's style, but you have Bill Evans playing all the way through there, and I really enjoy it. Good one to pick up. It's on original jazz classic. Just sounds great. They did a good job with this pressing. Told you I had a lot. I freaking went stupid. Extensions, McCoy Tyner, Tone Poet, Blue Note. Of course, when you see that, you know it's quality, and this one is. Cool write-up on the back. This gets a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I'm trying to work with it. It's not as crazy as some of your, like Coltrane, where Coltrane went really nuts at the end, and it takes you there, makes you uncomfortable, brings you back in. So it's this would be one if you want to kind of stretch your jazz experience, your comfort, I guess is how I look at it. Sonny Rollins on Impulse Records. There it is. This is an acoustic sound series. Played this, excellent album, great songs. I want to get used to this album. Sound quality is awesome, no pops, and it's clear. It's a good jazz recording, so I recommend that one. And it's good for sort of newbies. It doesn't get too crazy in there. Big John Patton. You know what's cool about this guy? He is a jazz organ player.
Really?
So it's cool. It's funky. It's R&B, but it's jazz.
So is he a jazz pianist playing?
Well, no, he played organ. I don't know if he played piano. He played organ. And you have Grant Green, which is a big name for guitar, and then Tommy Turrentine. That's some new names on here for me. George Braith, kind of know, and Ben Dixon on drums. Great album. It's a promo copy, it looks like. It came out in the 80s, this was released. It was recorded like in the 60s or 70s and didn't come out until the 80s. But good, fun. Hot Sauce is killer, and Country Girl, freaking fun. Good music. Jackie McLean, Demon's Dance. Tone Poet, Blue Note, awesome. Good hard bop for me, but it goes into the jazz fusion a bit. Well, a lot, but killer. Love this album. Sounds great. It's everything you expect with Blue Note and Tone Poet. Nice gatefold, good presentation on there. Lou Donaldson, who I love, and I have a hard time finding his stuff. This is a killer and fun album. It's live, Fried Buzzard. I don't recognize a lot of the other musicians on here, but he's having fun. There's a lot of banter. You can tell it's one of those you're listening to it for the fun of it. It's not the best recording, but it's clear, so you can enjoy it. But it's not for the audiophiles if you're looking for that experience. But it's fun. You can tell they're having a good time with this. They're joking around, they're laughing and everything. So this one, a couple pops on. I'm still cleaning it up. It's an older record. For the most part, though, it plays nicely, so I'm not going to complain about it.
Beautiful collection, John.
Isn't that crazy?
Massive collection.
So that should end up my year. I'm going to stop the buying and start getting into these albums. You're going to see more of me reviewing my albums this year. I mean, if stuff comes up, we'll make exceptions maybe, but I'm not going to go as crazy as I did this year. So, cool?
Very cool.
All right. How many albums do you have now?
20-something, 30-something?
Okay. That's cool.
A decent amount.
Yeah, and they're nice. I mean, the albums are fun just to put on. And
I've always enjoyed just putting on an album and, doing housework, honestly.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, jazz, anything, bopping around. Yeah. So, cool. Well, thanks for joining me. Yeah, and that's it. That's New Grabs, and that's it for the year. So you guys have a great day. Have a safe new year. And until next time, you guys enjoy your music and you take care, all right?
South is out.
South is out. Bye.